Ludivine.
Good morning, Jean-David.
20th of October, just 1 month after we met at harvest time, and just 1 month before, exactly, until the 162nd Hospices de Beaune auction. Very happy to be here, very happy to see a beautiful cellar with a lot of barrels. Obviously 1 month after the harvest, you've got a better view of the vintage. Can you please tell us a few words about these vintage and these wines in both colors? How do you feel about them?
You're right, 1 month after, we now know a little bit more about how the wines are showing, and we can confirm that the wines, as we expected, are very deep and powerful. They are very fresh on aromas, like yellow fruit, flowers. So we were already a little bit aware about that, but it's just confirmed. And for the reds, we have, it's amazing for the reds because we have strong tannins with a lot of structure. Of course, the colors are beautiful, but it's so obvious that we forget to mention. So we have deep colors, concentrated tannins, strong ones, but still they taste sweet and round, which is a little bit surprising because as we had a lot of sunshine during this vintage, we were expecting a bit more rude and affirmed tannins, but they are soft, so well balanced by the end. You know how focused I was on freshness.
Definitely. And
that was the point for me for this vintage, especially when we think about the sun that we had. And I think we get to the point, but to be really honest, it's because it's not only a matter of winemaking, getting this freshness, it's also the matter of the harvest date. And I think we get to the point after the winemaking, thanks to the right and proper and appropriated harvest date.
You mentioned freshness, you know, the balance in the wines with the acidity, etc. In terms of vinifications, being ourselves winemakers, something that we hear about this vintage is that it was falsely easy, easy but not that easy. Do you share that view?
I do share that point of view. I would say difficult to be easy, but easy to be difficult. When 2022 was ready to be picked and when we saw the first grapes arriving, even starting the first pressing and starting the first grapes into the tank for the reds, we didn't really know what to do. And this is one of the first time it happens for me, and not really know what I'm going to do. I did know what I am not, what I not going to do. So we had to wait for a few days before to feel and to get to the point. So it was not that easy, but once we get to the final objective to focus on what the grapes and the identity of the terroir could deliver, that was okay. But it took a little bit of time.
Technically speaking, how did you work with a few simple words to explain without going into the details?
And it's also because it's a kind of
secret. Of course.
No, we work on the lees for the whites, keeping them a bit more than what we used to do, because the lees are a bit more reductive, so they protect the aromas. And for the reds, we avoided the air when we were pumping over, when we were doing the pigeage. So we extracted softly to protect the aromas, because we know this is the point for the air not to be our friend in this part of the maceration. And after that, we finished our ferments for the reds under rather low controlled temperature, around 29 degrees, not over.
Okay, so that's the secret.
That's the secret.
Thanks for sharing.
A part of it.
Of course. In modern times, with all the social networks, we used to use hashtags. So very funny, interesting exercise. In a few keywords, can you please, go through the different vineyards and appellations and just give a few, hashtags for them? So let's start with the iconic Côte de Nuit, like Claude Laroche, Échezeaux, and Mazy-Chambertin, in a few keywords.
For those three ones, I would say that they are really really close to what we expect from them. In French, we say grandiose.
And amazing.
and completely linked to what we expect from them, to be both complex but already almost ready to be drunk.
Okay, okay. If you go down a little bit, go south with the hill of Corton, so with Corton Charlemagne.
You talk to my heart.
I know, I know I am. So Corton.
Corton, I would say sure and great value, both in whites and reds. Completely classic for the Chardonnay, for the Corton Charlemagne, a bit shy, a bit tight, almost tannic, even for the Chardonnay, for the Corton Charlemagne cuvée. And for the reds, we have that deepness and roundness at the same time.
Okay.
So I would say, yeah, with a great value.
Okay. Again, south with the Beaune vineyards.
I think...
where you have 10 cuvées.
Yeah, we have 10 cuvées and 2 in whites, the new one. We're talking about that a little bit later. So I would say our cuvées are really representative of what Beaune can offer. Of course, as you know now, we separate all the climat when we make the wine in our tanks. But at the end, we make blends. And now, making these blends, we are now able to offer a very large range of different styles of Beaune. I mean, if you expect minerality, you can go on Sirop Chaudron cuvée. If you expect deepness, you can go on Clos des Avaux. If you expect finesse and elegance, you can go on Maurice Drouin. If you expect very density and heavy and strong talent, you go on Nicolas Rollin. So it means that for every taste, you can find a cuvée of Beaune rather easily this year, expressing the terroir very nicely.
And you've given many keywords for each of them, so that's great. Go down south a little bit with Pommard.
Pommard. Pommard, I'm really starting to get to the point in the Pommard. I already told you that Pommard was one of the areas to make wine with. I was not at ease so far. But since the last few years, I'm really starting to appropriate to myself what the terroir there can give. And I would say balance.
Balance, okay. Again, a little bit south with the not so famous appellation, but very worth having a look at is Montely.
Montely, yeah. Fruity, very fresh. Vinified without sulfites, sulfur. So I would say interesting and to be drunk easily.
Easy.
Yeah.
Okay. I forgot Savigny and Pernand.
Oh, how can you do that?
Don't know.
Our different for Savigny and Pernand. Classic. We expect from Savigny, to me, for it to be sweet and concentrated at the same time. So I think we get to the point in the Savigny. Pernand-Vergelesses, we produced a little bit less barrel in Pernand-Vergelesses because the plots are now a little bit smaller because we get rid of part of it. But I would say close to Corton, concentrated, but a bit fresh, more fresh.
Okay. Obviously the golden triangle of Meursault with the 3 Chardonnays, the Porizo, the Geneviève and Charme in Premier Cru and the 2 cuvées of Village.
Oh, well, you can go on classic Meursault for the Village. Well,
roundness.
Yeah, roundness, a bit pastry, a bit...
generosity.
Generosity and elegance.
Okay.
And if we separate the 3 other, the 3 Premier Cru, the Charme, the Geneviève and Porizo, you will have this shy side of the Porizo showing off a little bit more difficult, with more difficulty than the other 2 ones, a bit tannic on texture. On the other around, you will have the Charme, very round and deep and not heavy because not overripe, but concentrated. And I would say the Geneviève could be
in the middle,
in between.
Okay. Let's not forget the Grand Cru white, the Batin Montrachet.
What's the English for grandiose? Grandiose.
Okay. Outstanding.
Outstanding.
Okay.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous. Thank you. A very important decision that you announced a few weeks ago is the conversion, or the confirmation of the conversion into organic viticulture for the Hospice estate.
Yes, you're right.
A few words for these reasons and how this came and the objectives.
Yeah, well, as you know, we already we are running the estate since well, a lot of years now.
Even before.
But the decision was taken because now we are on our second year of conversion, and the decision was taken because we felt ready. And to be honest, I felt ready to go. Before, all the steps are very necessary to be confirmed and to be set up with the team, with the material, with the knowledge, with the skills as well, and also meeting people to share with them.
Share the views.
As at Albert Bichot, you know, you are already a lot in advance about this matter. So it was also important for me to meet a lot of people already converted and to get to the point. It was very obvious for the hospital to go in that way because we already provide cares. We want to focus on health. So it was something like logical, but it's something we are now in. So I guess you will probably be able to go up to the end of the process.
Exactly, as you said, you know, we've started our organic conversion for the estate quite a while ago, and happy to share that with you. So definitely, we know we'll be able to age the Hospices de Beaune wines following the organic principles. Yes. So we're happy to pursue your work, your care upstairs in the cellars and in our cellars as well. That's obviously with lots of pleasure. Speaking about that change as well, there are also a few changes in terms of the cuvées of Corton.
Yes.
And a new cuvée of Beaune Premier Cru White.
Yeah.
Reveal the secret.
I will. First, if we talk about the Beaune Premier Cru White in Clos des Mouches, it will be the cuvée Beto, Hugues Louis Beto. It's not a new parcel. It's not something we have in the last few months. It was already included into the Hugues Louis Beto cuvée before in red. And when we snatched this plant, we decided to put in Chardonnay. That's
so
why
about 12 years ago.
About 12 years ago. And it is, we've been doing this wine since a few years now. And it's something very classical for an estate to remove and to replant and to change and to, it's something like the life of an estate. So it's new for you, but for us, it's not that specific. What is more specific is the matter of the Corton, as you mentioned, because we don't have a new parcel of Corton at all. The thing is, we organized the cuvée completely differently now. I guess we've already talked about the fact that when I'm making the wine, I separate the 4 climats that we have: Bressande, Renarde, Chaume, Clos du Roi. One was already separated, Clos du Roi. The other 3 ones were separated in maceration and in vinification, but after that I blended them to provide the Charlotte Dumais and the Dr. Pest cuvées. But I was doing this for the history, not for the identity, for the DNA of the Burgundy. And I think both ideas are not something impossible to link.
Sure.
And that's why we decided to keep now them separated, because they are better separated than blended.
Okay, so we'll still have the Corton Clos du Roi,
of course,
single vineyard.
You will have a single vineyard with the Corton Renarde, Cuvée Les Renardes. You will have another one, Corton Bressande in Charlotte Dumais, and the last one in Corton Chaume, Cuvée Dr. Pest.
Okay, very clear. We like both, Clos des Mouches, we've got a little bit of vineyards there, so happy to be neighbors with you in Clos des Mouches. Also neighbors in Corton with our Corton Clos des Maréchaux, for instance. So
you're right.
Definitely a wise move, and really looking forward to
so this is something you can point out,
of
the
course.
fact that we want to revindicate as well. And this is what I explained, that it is not that it is very new for us because we do want to focus on the name of the donators and the name of the cuvées. We are completely linked to that, but it's not the point not to be also respectful of what Burgundy is inside of our heart, especially in Corton for me.
Exactly, and moving forward. Speaking of Corton, which is very deep to your heart, obviously this year you also pay tribute to, well, someone said like the king of Corton, to Louis-Fabrice Latour, with a very special tribute, well, linked to the presidential barrel.
Yeah, we wanted to honor this great man, Louis-Fabrice Latour. So that's why we straight away thought about a Corton, and to go up to the end of the process. We asked their tonnellerie to provide this barrel made by Maison Latour with their oak, their way to heat the barrels with their specific style. And I hope Louis-Fabrice would be proud of,
I'm sure,
what they provide to us. So our Corton in their barrel.
In their barrel, very sure about defending obviously the childhood cause with Princess Margot and Vision du Monde for the two charities.
Yeah.
Obviously that's a great cause. Obviously we'll support that as much as possible, like every year, but fingers crossed. Last but not least, 1 month, few weeks before the auction, how do you feel? Excited, ready, defending a beautiful vintage?
Well, the three of them. I have to thank my wonderful team, because I think this vintage wouldn't have been so great and so precise without them. I think it's the best team I've ever had so far. And this is why now I can feel very secure and proud and optimistic.
Confident.
Oh, well, optimistic, more like confident.
Great. Well, we had to.
I'm never confident.
I know. We are optimistic too. It's a great vintage. We'll have a great pleasure, in supporting, as always, the Hospice, promoting it. And now, let's wait until auction day.
See you in 1 month.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Ludivine.